What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Worst Fans Podcast. I'm Victor Hernandez, aka Buck. That's Marco. That's Rhett. Say hi, guys.
Hello.
What's going on?
All right.
Mhm.
We've been away for 2 weeks. A couple of us were busy doing other things, but we're back now, and we have a couple of topics to talk about. All
Starting
right.
with the Mets beating the Nationals. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, what
Oh,
were you saying?
the Mets beating. No, this isn't about baseball, man. Come on.
All right.
All right. The Endor trailer came out yesterday. The second Endor trailer.
Oh yeah.
Now, before the trailer came out, I saw a picture on Instagram saying Endor 3-episode premiere September 21st. 21st, right?
20,
At first.
No, 21st.
Yeah.
21st, right? It threw me off because I'm like, wait a minute. This is supposed to come out August 31st. I've been looking forward to this.
Right.
So I was like, what the hell, man? But then the trailer dropped.
Mhm.
And I was like, wow.
What a trailer.
Holy crap. How beautiful and cinematic did that trailer look?
I mean, it was fantastic.
It looked like a movie. It looked like movie
amazing.
quality.
And it got me hyped. And I'm like, you know what? All right, I can wait till September. But it also got me a little sad. You know why? Because why did this trailer look so beautiful and cinematic and Obi-Wan look like crap?
Oh man.
Marco, I want you to explain to me why this is.
I mean, it's really not much of an explanation. Disney just decided to screw over its main character. It really did. I mean, Obi-Wan is one of the top tier characters of Star Wars, and Andor was really just in one movie, a good movie. Don't get me wrong, I love Rogue One, but they really just decided to focus on this 2-season show that clearly has a higher budget than Obi-Wan. We can visually see it.
You can visually see that, yes.
You can
this
visually see
definitely
they
has
put a lot more
higher
work
budget.
into it. Also, a little
Yeah.
bit more background too. So we have Saw Gerrera coming back again. We have
He's the most expensive one.
we have a little bit of sequel love because Maz Kanata's in there.
Did I miss her?
She's the person with the goggles.
Was it? Yeah, but she looked different.
She looked different, but it looked like, in my eyes, it looked like Maz Kanata. I don't know. I could be. I
Yeah,
could
Might
be
have been. I
wrong,
didn't
but-
even think about it. I didn't
I'm
recognize
not,
it.
I'm not 100% sure. Someone else mentioned that too, but I wasn't 100% sure. But my thing is, look, I'm not trying to pick back on Obi-Wan again. We've talked that to death about the story and how it went, right?
Mhm.
Everyone has their opinions. Some liked it a lot. Some didn't like it, like myself. I was very disappointed. But I don't think you could argue that as far as the special effects on Obi-Wan, they look like shit. They did. I don't think anyone could argue that. I mean, they did. It looked cheap. So I just don't understand. This is Lucasfilm, right? I understand they're different, creative minds from both shows, different. But why is it that Andor looks like it was treated better?
Tell you
The
what.
show could suck. I just don't understand why
They didn't need to. They didn't need to put effort in Obi-Wan. People will watch it with Ewan and Hayden in there
because of the
anyway.
name, yeah.
So let's introduce new characters and stretch it out. It was just supposed to be movie length anyway. Doesn't matter. Take $20 and make a budget out of it. It's okay if it's fan film because it's Darth Vader and it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's
Yeah,
it.
I think. I think I talked to you about that yesterday. I think that's my theory too. I think because it was Obi-Wan and Vader, they thought they can get away with just the fact that everyone's going to tune in just to see those two characters anyway. So they could basically cut the budget in half and get away with it like that.
And
But
play around with the story because people don't care.
Yeah.
As long as people see Obi-Wan and Hayden, they don't care what the story's going to be. Obi-Wan and Hayden are back.
yeah, I think that's what it is. Rhett, as far as the trailer looks and what you got from the trailer, does it make you even more excited for the
Oh,
show
yeah.
now? I mean, from the
Oh,
first
yeah.
one to the second one?
100%. Funny,
Yeah.
when we all first heard Andor came out, you might have been the only one that was kind of like backing it. Like, I like that character. This is gonna be all right.
Mhm.
I was
It
just
did-
more like,
yeah.
why?
Yeah.
I was the same
Like,
way.
I don't know what he's so important. Then you start to go back and you go, they name a show based on a character, but really, we're getting like the Game of Thrones version of the rebellion and the Empire, like the houses and the politics. And it's like actually good looking politics. It's not like
Yeah.
episode
Yeah.
1 style.
Yeah.
And it looks intriguing and exciting, and the era is everyone's favorite, the Empire and the Rebellion.
It does.
You can't go wrong.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, that trailer got me hyped. I was like, you know what? Mandalorian is sort of my and anything that follows Mandalorian, the Ahsoka show, whatever comes after that, it's like my post Return of the Jedi. Great Star Wars. That's the only good Star Wars after Episode 6, in my opinion.
Agreed.
And
Yeah.
then now this is probably the only truly good Star Wars in between. Well, I can't say that completely. The animated stuff's good.
Yeah.
How about live action? Well, shit, I like Solo too, to be honest with you. So it's the next new show that I
Yeah.
truly think is going to keep us going in the Rebellion era. So there you go.
Well, I mean, I hope so. I mean, I think for me, I mean, Obi-Wan did really kind of just kill my expectations for future Star Wars. But I have to say, this does look very promising. I love Rogue One, and I really did like Diego Luna's character. I mean, Andor. I actually he was my favorite character in Rogue One. But the interesting part about the show is that honestly, it looks much bigger than just Andor. I mean, this looks like it's going to be concentrating on a bunch of characters.
Mhm,
So I'm excited. I honestly I
mhm.
have hope now. So that's a good thing. It's a good thing. All
Good.
right. So starting off August, because there's a lot of things coming out in August. I mean,
Oh yeah,
Andor
there
was
is.
pushed back, but we do have Prey. Prey is a Predator movie based on the first Predator to actually visit Earth and do its first hunting on Earth. I saw a trailer for it a couple of months ago, the first trailer, and I wasn't too excited about it because of the fact that, man, the Predator did so bad. The movie The Predator, the last Predator that came out. I just I wasn't sure why they would make another one. Um, a lot of people hated it. It did horribly in the box office. So they do a Predator movie called Prey, and it's gonna release on Hulu. I saw the trailer for it, and it looked interesting. It looked really good, but I still had doubts because, man, I don't know. It's coming out on Hulu. I mean, how good could it really be? Well, they premiered it 2 weeks ago in Comic Con. A handful of people saw it, and they were raving about it. They were like, "Wow, this is the best Predator movie since the first one." So ever since then, it's got me really hyped for it. Another trailer came out for it. It looked even more amazing. And right now, the Rotten Tomato score is at 96%.
That's
That's
Uh,
crazy.
crazy. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, as a big Predator fan, I'm stoked for this. I'm hoping it's true that it really is great. I mean, Rhett, me and you
Yeah.
go way back when
Yeah,
it comes to this
Predator
franchise,
goes
man.
back to,
Where
like,
do
in our
you?
top 5
Yeah, yeah.
favorite, you
What do
think
you
of, like,
think?
Terminator and Predator and RoboCop and those
Yep.
classic '80s
Alien.
amazing action movies that just Aliens that blew our
Yep.
mind. It's one of the main ones.
Yep.
So you're right, we've kinda always been chasing the, "Oh, we're finally gonna get a good Predator movie," and, we thought with Predators with, is it Robert Rodriguez? I'm trying to remember who did that movie.
Well, was it Robert Rodriguez? I know it was produced. I'm not sure if it was directed, but
Maybe. Well, right,
he
there's
was
that,
involved in it. Yeah.
Alien versus Predator. We actually both kinda liked, maybe it's a guilty pleasure at this point, but the first Alien versus Predator, we thought was pretty good. Requiem,
I
eh,
did. Yeah, Queen
um,
was yeah, it
not
wasn't good.
great.
Yeah.
And then The Predator, I think we left it, like, fairly positive, but I can admit that I don't know if I've seen it maybe one more time. That said, yeah,
Yeah.
this looks good. And I think we talked about there was these back in the day, 25, 30 years ago, these novels. They were Alien versus Predator, but they had a female, like a heroine on the cover,
Yeah.
and they had her in the comics. The comics you own,
They
in
did.
fact.
They did.
I don't remember her character name, but essentially the Predators got her. She was a worthy opponent, and they said, "We're not going to kill you. We're going to kind of bring you up here to our world and put you in our little Predator tournament." And she was a great fighter. And this character, I don't know, she's probably not based on her, but she reminds me of that in a bit. And I have a feeling, she's going to lay out the Predator, and the other ones are going to come by the end and just like, "You're worthy. Earth looks like a good place to come hunt in the future." It sounds really cool to me, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what this movie looks like, it's bringing really back to basics. It's not putting so much unneeded story like the rest of them kind of put the last couple of sequels, like the Predator. So that's what I'm looking forward to. It looks great. Marco, your expectations.
I
What do you
mean,
think?
I remember watching the first Predator movie with you and Dad, and it was a great movie. I love the film. I even loved Alien versus Predator, even though they're cheesy as hell and not the best. But they're still fun movies.
Yeah.
I enjoy them. So having a prequel like the first Predator to ever come to Earth, it's very. I like origin stories. I always have. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
excited for this, and the fact that it already has a 96 in Rotten Tomatoes, my expectations are high already because of how much people are loving it so much.
I know.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I hope I'm not disappointed. No, that's all.
Me too. Yeah, I know, and it's kind of hard for me not to get excited because I'm a big fan of the franchise. So when I hear people saying that, oh, it's really good, of
Yeah,
course I'm
you
gonna
love the
get.
friend. Your favorite game is still
Yeah.
Predator Hunting
So
Grounds.
yeah, I think
Just love
the only thing I don't like is the fact that because I'm hearing it's so good,
it.
I
Uh-oh.
can't see it in theaters. All these press screenings that people were seeing it were in theaters, and they're saying, "Oh, it looks so great." I mean, cinematography was amazing. I'm like, well, damn, man, I wish I could see it in theaters now.
Just
But
watch it on
hopefully
Oculus.
this one does well. What
Just
happened?
watch it on Oculus.
We're
Yeah,
gonna.
that's what we're talking
We
about.
already
Yeah,
got a plan. We got in big screen and
yeah,
tested it.
yeah. I
Don't
mean,
forget to
that's
update your big screen
yeah,
so
and I have to
you
update it.
don't.
Yeah, yeah, we have that option, so that's
How
good.
long is the
But
movie? I don't even know.
no, it's not long. It's like 99 minutes. I read.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so it's not long. But hopefully this one does good, so that if this does good, they do more sequels. It will come out in the theaters. So
I take it Alien versus Predator is no longer canon, right?
No,
Like the movie that came
I don't
out.
think
I
it'll ever
I
work.
don't think they
I
are.
think they're just
But
fan
you know
movies.
what I'm hoping that one day, like if this does well, I'm hoping there's a director out there that maybe might tackle that franchise again and do a
Yeah.
really good
What if
movie.
the post credit scene is the first Alien?
Oh man, are you kidding? No, don't get me excited. Let me tell you, when I saw Predator 2 in the theater with my father, all
Yeah.
right, I can't tell you how excited I was when at the end of the movie, sorry, spoilers, whoever hasn't seen Predator 2, but at the end of the movie, Danny Glover's in the ship and he's looking for the Predator and he opens up this trophy room and one of the skulls that I noticed right away was the
The
alien
xenomorph.
skull.
Yeah.
And my heart just jumped. I'm like, Pop, did you see that? That's the alien. And
That's
he
like
goes, Oh
what?
yeah, yeah. In fact, there's comics. I'm like, what? There's comics of Alien versus Predator. So ever since then, I've been a huge fan of that franchise. And when they came out with a movie, yeah, it wasn't the best, but I mean, I liked it for what it was. It was fine for me. So yeah, maybe one day they will make a great Alien versus Predator movie. That would be
I
amazing.
would
So
happy for
we'll
that.
see. We'll
Sweet as
see.
hell.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to our main topic. It's a sensitive topic, a crazy topic, one that's been on the headlines for the last couple of weeks. The DCEU is completely falling apart.
Uh,
I I don't know what's going on. Um, 2 weeks ago, Comic Con happened, and rumors broke out that Henry Cavill was going to make an appearance to announce something.
Mhm.
Whether it was going to be a Superman project or he was going to show up in Shazam, we don't know. But he didn't show up, so that left a lot of people upset. Not only that, but there was only two movie projects that were announced for DCEU for the DC. It was Shazam
right.
and it was Black Adam.
Yep.
And let's
That's it.
face it. Did any of us give a shit about Shazam or Black Adam back in the day? Let's
No,
face it. Back
no,
in
we
the
did
day,
not.
no.
We did not. And when you compare how the MCU did a outline of the next decade and a half
Yeah,
of
honestly,
their
the
movies,
MCU threw
it's sad that DC only had Black Adam and Shazam 2. No mention of Aquaman 2. No mention of The Flash, which both movies, as far as I know, are complete. Obviously, it's due to the fact with the Ezra Miller mess and Amber Heard, but yeah, so that left a lot of people upset. It was just like, man, that's it. That's all they had. Great. Well, last week we got an announcement that on Jason Momoa's Instagram, with pictures of Ben Affleck and him together on the set of Aquaman 2, it looked like the set, saying that, oh, so glad he's saying that he's so glad Ben's back. I missed you, buddy, and that Ben Affleck is gonna be back as Batman in
Marco is
Aquaman
so
2.
excited about that.
I'm thrilled. It makes me want to see even more. I can't wait for Aquaman 2 to come out.
So
One
look,
guy in the room that doesn't like
Eddie.
him.
Hey, I know. Yeah, Marco is not a big Ben Affleck
I'm not
fan when it comes to
I'm not a
Batman.
Batfleck
Me and
fan.
Red are. So I saw this on Instagram. I immediately text the guys. I'm like, holy shit! Did you just see what just happened? Exciting news, right? But it again, more confusion. Like, what does this mean? Why would Ben Affleck come back after he said he was done with being Batman? What does this mean going forward? What's going on? right? Well, it was later, and another article came out that the reason why Ben Affleck is replacing, or not replacing, but is going to be Batman and Aquaman 2 was because Michael Keaton was supposed to be in that movie. But because the Flash was pushed back because of Ezra Miller's crap, they had to put, they asked Ben if he can come back and do the cameo instead. We're like, okay. So there's that. Then yesterday,
What
Back
happened yesterday?
Batgirl, a movie that was supposed to come out for HBO Max originally, was finished filming. They were in the editing process. Announced that it is canceled.
Canceled.
Not just canceled as far as going to HBO Max, canceled going to theaters, just shelved altogether. It's never going to see the light of day. So all this news, man, guys. Here's my thing, man. I mean, what's really going on? This is a complete mess, Marco.
Embarrassing.
You're shaking your head. I mean, what's going on?
I'm telling you what.
What's going
man,
on? Man?
DC just needs to do a whole new revamp. I'm sorry. They're trying to do everything in the book to fix their mess ups. They really are, because they know they messed up. They know they have. I mean, look at the success that compared to the original Justice League that came out and compared to the Snyder Cut that came out. Night and day with their success. I even like the Snyder Cut. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good movie. And I just don't think Warner Brothers knows what they're doing. First of all, the person who's in charge of casting needs to get fired, because Ezra Miller and Amber Heard have caused a whole ruckus of mess for Warner Brothers altogether and the DCU altogether. If someone is big as, the Flash, like in the Justice League, let's compare him to, like, I don't know, Spider-Man in the MCU. If we hear one day that Tom Holland is doing the crap that Ezra Miller's doing, the MCU would be done for, because it's the same crap. So it's I don't know what I just think they need to scratch it all.
Part of me agrees with
you. And start fresh. I'm sorry, because it's already ruined.
I think that was the plan.
It really was, yeah.
But because Ezra Miller and Amber Heard, especially Ezra Miller, have been doing their thing, it's basically ruining the plans they had to reboot.
Yeah,
they can't even get them off the ground.
They can't even do that.
How are you going to make an entire movie, and because of one person, you can't release it?
Not only that,
all that money they wasted.
Batgirl cost, the budget went up. Batgirl, it was $90 million it took to make that movie. $90 million, and it's funny. There's rumors coming around that they just want to write it off as a tax write-off. But I'm like, I don't understand, man. I'm like, $90 million, and you're not even going to release it, huh?
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out how they even do that. You spent $90 million, so you get a tax write-off.
Yeah,
business. You didn't make money off of it. I get
the new executives at Warner Brothers are apparently putting this on the fact that they had a test screening for this movie, a private test screening, and it did not test well, and apparently it was awful, and they just want to scrap it all together. I personally do not believe that, because
oh my god,
you have, first of all, you have this young talent, right? This girl, I forgot her name. I saw her in The Heights. Okay,
she looks pretty good.
She's great. Okay, Michael Keaton as Batman. We're coming back as Batman, right? You had the return of Brandon Fraser as the villain. You mean to tell me this movie's so awful that you can't even bring it out on HBO Max? I mean, if that's the case, how did Venom see the light of day? Explain to me this, because the Sony universe with their Marvel movies,
it's similar. Batman.
Come on.
I mean, Sony just wanted money, truly, for that movie. They just wanted to.
Okay, I get what you're saying,
but Tom Hardy didn't do anything like Ezra Miller's doing. People like Tom.
No. I'm not talking about Tom Hardy. And look, I'm not trying to put down like Venom as like, oh, look, for what an enjoyable mess that it was, some people enjoyed it. But that's what I'm saying. You can't really admit and say that, oh, Venom was a great movie.
No, hell no.
It was an enjoyable one for like a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me that this movie's that bad, Batgirl's that bad, that they couldn't release an HBO Max? Come on, man.
Yeah, what are you looking for? What is this new guy that running stuff? We were kind of chatting about this, and he's Mr. Discovery Plus, so he's Discovery Channel, which back in the day when we were younger was documentaries and stuff. You know, that was what Discovery was.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It was the past 15 years or so when it suddenly became stay-at-home mom's favorite channel because it's reality shows.
All that.
all
crap.
that reality stuff,
Yeah.
and cooking, and if you're overweight, this is the psychological problems you have, and let me show you about my life in polygamy, and that's what Discovery is, and that's what this guy's thinking. He has no idea of what's going on in the world of comic book movies, and he's probably gonna say, you know what, scrap the whole thing, like Marco said, like let's just drop it, forget it. These things are troublesome, and stick to our reality shows where we can put all sorts of advertisements and product placement and things to make
Yeah.
our Discovery Channel money, 'cause that's all they care about now.
I mean,
Well, we don't. Okay, here's the thing. We don't know exactly what their complete motive is. We're not exactly sure. Obviously, that has a big part of it. I mean, I think I've been hearing some rumors that they want to merge the two together. Like they want to get rid of HBO Max and kind of merge HBO with Discovery. I don't know how that's going to work, but it's
Yeah,
it's
because Discovery
it's
Plus is its own thing, and then HBO Max
yeah,
is its own thing, and now they're one company. So
right. It and they just got rid of HBO Max. 6 original movies from HBO Max. It got tossed. So I'm kind of scared because actually HBO Max is my favorite streaming channel. Believe it or not, it is.
shopping, yeah,
So it is a little disturbing. But okay, Rhett, let me ask you.
yeah.
Knowing that Batgirl was canceled, right?
Mhm.
Do you think the Flash is next? Do you think that's where they're
Yeah,
going with this? That
yeah.
Flash,
I've,
they're really
I'm
thinking about
thinking
just
they're
scrapping it all
warming
together.
us up. They're warming us up to say the whole thing's done. We're gonna give you Black Adam, and we're gonna give you Shazam and Aquaman 2, possibly, because that one now needs reshoots, and that'll cost us more money. So maybe not actually.
No, because I feel the announcement of Ben Affleck. Why would they do that? If that's the case, at this point.
Think about the Amber Heard bit. They got to figure out what they are. They going to keep her
Well, no,
in there?
from what I heard, she only had 10 minutes of screen time that they reduced, and then they just wiped
yeah,
it
just
off
wipe that all
altogether.
off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think that's the issue.
Ugh. I mean, yeah, I
Yeah,
think Flash could. If Flash goes, that means just restart it. It's done. Because
yeah,
Flash at least could restart him, and even if you have to show Ezra Miller, that's the last time you ever have to see him. At that point, you're free to do what you want.
right.
That's what we all thought. As much as I was like, it's kind of their cop out. I was okay with that. It was going to be the multiverse of madness that I guess you guys didn't get, because that, even me, I thought was going to be very different. I think it's just going to be a Wanda Maximoff show. It was our movie was it was I thought it was going to reset, almost like say everything's open game now, and it kind of was like, Spider-Man did the same thing as this. This was no different. I got
Yeah,
off topic a little bit. Sorry. Yeah, the Flash was going to be that opportunity to say, we know everything's in crazy directions. Now you can say the Batman, Joker. These are all various universes that exist out there. We're just following their timeline right now.
yeah,
And what was left of the DCEU is here in front of you. You could say that way you could get rid of that Joker. You could get rid of Ben Affleck. You can get rid of Henry Cavill. You can get rid of Mira, Joe Manganiello, because all of them appeared in Snyderverse at the end. And you can say, yep, that's the universe that we got rid of. That timeline doesn't exist now. Thanks for saying this, Flash. Here's what remains, and here's our new Batman, our new Superman, new everybody. Wonder Woman was not in that, remember? Neither was Aquaman. So they could have continued with that, or Shazam. So those three could continue in what would have been the next DCEU, and they would say Snyderverse is over here. Ezra Miller's Flash saved us from having to deal with that. Although we all probably wanted that group of characters a lot more than leaving behind. Who'd we just say? Michael Keaton's Batman, Aquaman, Shazam, and Wonder Woman. I think those were going to be the remaining ones because they didn't show up at the end of Snyderverse,
yeah.
Justice League.
Uh, I think right now it's still up in the air. I think they're very much thinking that the Flash could very well be scrapped. Because they want to replace Ezra Miller, and I think in their minds they're like, you know what? I don't think replacing him in the next movie is good enough. I think they just want to get rid of him right now. It's just too much of a liability, and it's ruined what their
Yeah,
plans were going forward. Um,
they
I
just need to
think
reset.
what happened?
They just need to reset. I mean, if they get
Yeah,
rid of
well,
Flash, it's like this doesn't even get an ending now, so let's just
yeah.
reset completely.
Now, my train of thought was, I think honestly, if they do that, I think what they're gonna do is just really just concentrate on solo films when it comes to the DC heroes. Nothing connected, nothing that's connected
Yeah, they're
to
they're
extended
never going to be
universe
able
or
to
anything like
compare it
that.
to Marvel.
Yeah.
Right. But here's where I kind of thought back on that, because the only thing that still doesn't make sense to me is Ben Affleck being in Aquaman too. Why? If they're trying to just scrap the whole thing altogether, right?
Yeah.
is it that important that they put this guy in a cameo? Because it'll just be a cameo. Let's face it. He'll probably be just Bruce Wayne. Why put him in there? If maybe they're thinking of just pushing Michael Keaton out, scrapping the Flash thing altogether, and bringing back Ben Affleck as Batman and Henry Cavill as Superman. Because there's still, even though Henry Cavill did not show up in Comic Con, there's still rumors and talks about he still could show up in Dennis of not Shazam, Black Adam. So again, yeah, it's confusing. There's so much going on that I just don't see exactly what it is that the new heads at Warner Brothers are actually going to do going forward with the DCEU. I really don't know. It's a mess right now.
I feel like I think they're just desperate to be honest. Because I mean, we had no idea that Batman was even supposed to show up in Aquaman 2.
No, we didn't,
And
right? So exactly. So
Jason
why even announce that?
Jason
Right,
Momoa
at this
kind of
point.
posting that as like
Yeah.
oh, we accidentally found out, because he kind of made it seem like it was an accident that people showed up on the tour bus or something and then they
Right.
saw
It was
Ben
weird.
Affleck.
I know. Yeah. At first, I didn't even get the whole poem. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it was a
I
very
don't
strange
know.
post that
Yeah,
we found out
it
Ben
was-
Affleck was on screen.
yeah.
But I feel like he kind of just
Yeah.
like got there last minute so that people can see that, oh, come watch this.
Right.
People were already boycotting this movie in the first place because of Amber Heard. A lot of people were not going to watch this movie. Now that they're bringing
Right.
Ben Affleck in, oh, you know what? Maybe we should watch this movie. I think it's just a way to get people to go watch it. Honestly,
Yeah, it's all it is, publicity
I
stunt.
don't think
I think
generally don't
also-
think the movie's going to be very good because it's.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of anything the DC universe does. I think the first Wonder Woman was okay. I thought Snyderverse was great. Everything else I could live without. Oh, and Man of Steel, but that wasn't even supposed to be like a Snyderverse movie. That was just a great Superman movie, opinion. But
Oh yeah, but I mean, it's still part of like the Snyderverse, where that was the start of it.
Yeah.
Well, look. I was excited. I was happy that even though Ben Affleck was leaving as Batman, and they were gonna kind of restart everything and bring Michael Keaton in. I mean, I was excited to see Michael Keaton as Batman again. I mean,
Yeah.
of course, he was. I grew up watching Michael Keaton as Batman, so I was excited. I wasn't necessarily excited on the idea of basically him replacing Ben and putting him in as like the DCEU Batman now. Like he's gonna be in multiple movies and this is our new Batman. I thought that was an idea that was like really.
I didn't like that idea either.
He's in the
Yeah.
70s now. I think it didn't make any sense.
I
So
figured he would show up and help get the Flash movie to a end point, and then that would be the end of it.
and that's it. Yeah, and yeah. So even though I mean, I feel kind of bad that maybe his Batman is starting to get pushed off, and we probably won't see his Batman. But I mean, I gotta tell you, if their idea is to try to bring back Ben Affleck back in the fold, I know it's a long shot, and Henry Cavill back, and kind of not so much restart the Snyderverse, but maybe do their own movies again, and maybe God, can you imagine one day we get Ben Affleck's Batman and Deathstroke movie that we've wanted to see, that everyone at the time was like so excited for? That would be great. I mean, that's what the fans want. And I did hear a rumor that the new WB executive, I'm not sure his name of the new head or whatever, but that he did like the Snyderverse. He was a fan of it. I don't know how true that is, but I mean, there's a little hope there. Maybe just a tiny bit of hope. I don't know. I like to hang on
It's
to
a
it.
sliver.
It's a sliver, all right. Because man, back when DC was maybe the first one to show their slate before Phase 2 or 3 was announced for Marvel, and I remember this clear as day that there was originally 2 Justice League movies, and it was like Justice League Part 1, and then a couple movies in between, and Justice League Part 2. And it just goes to show that from 10 years ago, DC couldn't keep their act together. DCU can't stick to their own timeline. Marvel tends to occasionally get off course, but not much. Like usually things just get pushed to the right.
Yeah.
DC will throw a whole line of movies up there, and you might get 5 out of the 12 movies stretched out over 10 years when it was supposed to be 3 years. Then they cancel the rest of them. They give you another timeline. More than half of that's canceled, and then a couple, and the 2 you might get 1 or 2 movies out of it, and the rest of them are pushed off to the side.
Yeah.
They just
I mean, here's the thing. MCU has done so much good that even the stuff that I'm not even too excited about, I cut them some slack because there's so much that they've done, and they're still doing going forward. I mean, it's their announcements for Comic Con were like, And it's funny, they have so much going on, and they still haven't even announced the X-Men yet. So
I
it's,
know. I was about to say
I
that. I was
mean,
waiting for my chance, but
you
yeah,
know what
I
I
was
mean?
originally like, "Oh, no X-Men." And now with the two Avengers movies, Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, suddenly I've been re-energized. I'm like, "All right, we're
Yeah.
building to something now. I know there's some big cool stuff happening, and I can't wait to see
Yeah, we
it."
got
And
the next
whatever.
big bad guy basically.
Yeah, 2 to 3 years coming along to build it up, let's do it. Let's build it up, and along the way, they'll sprinkle little X-Men mutant things along the way, and then finally, after Secret Wars, we'll start
And they're
diving into
making more
X-Men.
connections
I'm
now
down.
than I remember. We were worried about nothing really
Yeah.
connecting, but now after seeing the She-Hulk trailer, Daredevil, watching Wakanda Forever, now we got Namor. Like they're just pushing out a lot of
Yeah,
content in there, and like it's to
yeah.
get excited about. It's stuff to actually get
Yeah,
excited about as a Marvel cinematic fan.
I know, I
DC
know.
Universe
It's
So much
great.
fun.
It
is a
just it
mess.
depresses me because DCEU is so far from that, and
Yeah.
I don't think it will ever get to that point of the greatness
It
that
never
it
will.
just deserves.
So we
Um,
can safely say, as much as we wanna really point the finger at Ezra Miller, he's not so much the reason it failed, but he might very well be the final nail in the coffin, I'd say.
yeah, I mean, let's face it. Yeah, Warner Brothers, I think, is the reason why the Snyderverse failed, and it just they jumped the gun and made stupid decisions. And now that they try to rewrite and fix that with the Flash movie, it's almost I almost feel like it's karma that hit them. And I don't really believe in karma, but in this case, I mean, the fact that Ezra Miller is doing what he's doing and his movie was so important in restarting this whole thing that he held other projects back and have to reschedule everything because The Flash was supposed to come out before these movies. It's almost like, wow, like how does this even happen? You know? It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know.
Hey, you don't
Yeah.
just stick to a plan. That's what happens when you don't stick to your
Also,
plan. They
it's
had a
also
dark, gritty universe. They said, "Let's make it fun. It's
Yeah.
not Marvel enough. Let's make it fun, guys." And then it flops, and that's where you lose everybody, you
Yeah.
know?
also very confusing because I mean, I know these movies have nothing to do with it, but why if they want to make this connecting, why focus on movies like the Batman, Pattinson? Why focus on movies like the Joker, Phoenix? I
Well,
know, I know,
look,
there's
look.
solo movies. I know they have nothing to do with with the DC cinema,
Right, right.
but Marvel has teams of people working on multiple projects, still connected to the same. So why are we getting another Batman movie, getting another Joker
Excuse
movie,
me.
if they're so concentrated on fixing what they're up by putting Ben Affleck, Aquaman?
Yeah.
It just
Well,
whoever is in
Batman
charge
makes
doesn't
the
make
money.
sense.
Batman makes some money. It's almost a guarantee. If they make it just a good, decent Batman movie, it'll make them money. And Batman has enough of the villains in his universe that they could make their whole world around that, and it's fine. Look, I agree with you. I think there's other superheroes that need to be explored in DC, not just Batman. Um, but that's their safety net. You know what I
And
mean? It
that's
just
their
is.
problem. They're
Yeah.
too scared
Yeah,
to
no, I
explore the
agree. I agree.
universe to a
For
point
Yeah.
where it's
Look,
uncomfortable.
as much as I loved the Batman, I there's a part of me that says, this is great. I enjoyed the movie immensely, but I've kind of seen this all play out before. This isn't that much different from anything I've seen from Batman. I mean, it had its. I mean, the way it was layered and the way the story was told was unique.
Yeah,
But
as a movie on
we've
its
seen the
own, it's a
Joker.
great
We've
movie.
seen, it's yeah. I mean, you're right. That's why I don't understand why Ben Affleck's Batman was not made because that was going to tell a different story. We've never seen Deathstroke. We've never seen him, so it would have been great.
Yep, it was
That's
recycling, going right back
yeah,
down and just seeing a different version of Riddler and Penguin
yeah,
and,
yeah.
whatever, Catwoman.
It's funny because Matt Reeves, they had an interview with Matt Reeves, the guy who directed Batman, and he was asked, if he ever read Ben Affleck's script, would he ever think of directing it? He's like, "Oh, I read the script and it was great. I mean, it was amazing. It's just not my style as far as to direct a movie like that. But oh yeah, I enjoyed the script. It was great. It made everyone. I remember like watching the. It made me hurt, and I saw the comments, and I'm like, man, that sucks. We're never going to see this movie. And it just why? Why can't we have both? That's what I'm saying. Like, why
Yeah,
can't we have both? I
and it's not like they're doing what Mark said, it's like, why throw in Ben Affleck when you've got a successful new Batman you just introduced to the normal general audience?
Yeah.
They're gonna go, wait a minute, who's Batman? Ben Affleck or
You
Twilight?
know how many people are gonna be so
Yeah.
confused? It's
General people, yeah. Uh,
Yeah. I know.
Well,
I
that's
know.
why if the multiverse Flash thing had worked, it would have been easily written off like, hey, the Batman is in his own little universe over here playing this role. Don't even pay him no mind. So is the Joker, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. And then right here is like our core DC movies. And hell, they probably could have thrown in the Flash from the CW show just to be like, see, that little verse exists over there. Don't pay no attention
didn't
to
they
that if you
already
don't care
kind of
about it.
introduce that because wasn't Ezra Miller in like in the W show or something?
Yeah, I
He
never got
was.
there myself,
He
but I
was.
know
Yeah.
Ezra popped up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. As
I
far as
did.
Ezra Miller, I'm hoping maybe they could replace him with the guy who plays in the Flash in the shows. I mean, they've been
Yeah,
rumored that for a while. I thought that'll happen, but I
yeah.
honestly thought from what I saw from him, I saw like 2
He was
episodes.
good.
He was great.
Yeah,
He was
I'm in
great.
people
at
really
least the
liked him as
second or third
Flash.
season of that show. I
Yeah.
decided to go back and watch the CW shows. They're corny, but I'll be honest, I get more comic books, day-to-day comic book knowledge from that show than I have any of the movies because you got to think about it. A comic series or a television series about a comic book character really aligns itself a lot better to a comic book series because you're getting brief little episodes, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, and it makes a story arc of 2, 3, 4 episodes. And you could tell a lot of story in there. You get to learn about smaller villains and stuff that in a movie you've got about 2 to 3 hours generally, and you're going to usually see the rise and fall of a villain in one movie. That's what they do in cinematic world. It took forever before we finally got. In fact, I don't think we've ever seen the Joker show up in more than one movie except for what was kind of happening in the Snyderverse. But um,
Yeah.
Joker shows up, he dies in the first Batman. When we see the next Joker, well, unfortunately, the guy really died. Heath Ledger. That's unfortunate, but um, the Joker should be a reoccurring bad guy. You can get something like that in a CW show just because it's a series. Um, yeah, Marvel figured that out already. DC hasn't.
Yeah. I don't think they ever will, man. I mean, I could have hope all I want, but
No, and
I
then
don't know.
let's go back to what you used to say, like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 months ago. Then there's Peacemaker show, which I've never watched. But it's like, where
Yeah.
did that come from and who asked for that? Like, I mean, even if it's like, it sounds like barely entertaining from what I
Yeah,
gather, but
people have mostly positive feedback to say about it, but like
Yeah.
genuinely,
nice.
Yeah.
I
That's so
just
good. And,
why?
and also someone who hasn't seen The Boys, is it kind of like just a dark R-rated comic book show? I mean, is that all we're
Boys?
really
It
getting out of this?
so the boys
Uh,
is a totally different universe altogether. That
Yeah.
right. I guess
it
I'm saying
pokes
like,
fun at the superhero like satire, like the
doesn't
genre.
Peacemaker kind of do that?
No, he's I
Yeah.
mean,
It
it does, but
does.
like
But the thing is,
but he's a character
yeah.
in the DCU and he's playing a character. The
Yeah.
boys imitates these characters that
I
we're
get
familiar
it.
with on both universes, Marvel and DC. See very clear similarities, and they take a dark twist on it. That's why the boys is
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
very. I love the boys.
I'm just saying, is that Warner Brothers, the Peacemaker Warner Brothers version, to scratch the same itch as The Boys and getting like an R-rated superhero-ish show? Is that what they were trying to do? I don't know. I'm
You know
asking
what?
a rhetorical
Thinking
question.
about it, yeah, that's probably what they were trying to do. They probably saw the boys was such a success that they thought maybe let's do like our own version of the boys
See,
with this
that's what I
character.
think. I think they're just like very copycat when it comes to like trying to figure out what's the next big thing. Well, this is working over here. Let's try this real quick. What do we have that we can do and take that? Well, Peacemaker just happened in the Suicide Squad. There's a lot of hype about John Cena. Make a show. Just go do it. Oh, I know. Joss Whedon. Can you make Justice League as funny as and entertaining and lighthearted as the Avengers? Sure, go ahead. Wipe the slate from Snyderverse. Like,
Hmm.
I think they don't take much originality and stick with it. I
No,
think they're just copycat and it fails.
Yeah.
Um, but
Well,
yeah,
it's
I guess,
it's the same thing with Lucasfilm, honestly. I mean, a
yeah,
lot of the
you're right.
people there, they're
Uh,
just like I figure these old executives that they just don't know what the hell is going on. They just want to copy and paste most of the stuff.
hmm
I mean, yeah, it's you don't really have a lot of good like writers and original ideas from from these people that are running these things that you just don't. So
it seems like with Star Wars, since you went there, that they just It'll sell at Star Wars. It's fine. Everything's gonna be okay because it's Star Wars. You don't have to actually put any thought into it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Well, that's again not to sound like a broken record, but that's what they did with Obi-Wan. Basically,
Yeah.
that's what they did.
Hopefully Andor is a different story, but
So
yeah.
yeah. I'm not
I
even surprised Andor is looking as good as it does based on how bad things have been over there lately. You know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So anyway, I guess DC's the topic. What else? Ezra Miller is now making it so that everything's gonna get canceled in
yeah.
the next
Yeah.
thing.
Um,
Great. You know, you make it to Hollywood, you're an awesome superhero, and you're gonna go do the jerk things he's done to just bring it all down. Well done, dude.
but at the same time, uh, we really don't know yet if he might have just done us a favor. If if somehow they bring back
Clean. Wax on, wax off.
Henry Cavill, man, and Ben Affleck, maybe this was for the best. I don't know, man.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Oh man.
Well, only time will tell. I don't know what the new head of WB really is thinking, but we just have to wait and see, man. I don't know.
Does
I just
Flash
don't.
even have a release date anymore?
No, not. I
They
mean,
really
it
they
was
don't
supposed
have
to come
one?
out in 2023, but I seriously doubt it. Yeah, I don't know.
I remember it seems like about a year ago, it's coming up at least. There was a what was that convention? It was like a DC day,
I remember that.
and it was like almost
Mm-hmm.
what was
Yeah,
it called? It was kind of cool, and it got me kind of hyped. It was the first time we saw any footage from the Flash movie.
yeah.
What
I
was
think
that?
it was like in October or something. Yeah, we saw the
Yeah,
first trailer for Flash. Yeah, yeah.
that is gonna not happen this year. I'm sure of it. Like that would look like a neat thing that was about to start being like an annual. Hey, this is our DC, kind of like the Disney Day. You know, we're gonna just get all excited and brag about our new stuff. To this time, they'd be like, ah, I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, I'm pretty sure they'll have Blue Beetle to show.
Yeah,
That'd be
whose
exciting.
bright idea was to make something that no one's ever heard of? I'm sorry for the Blue Beetle fans out there, but
I don't know, man.
I
what
like
the
the actor
hell?
who was playing him.
Oh, yeah, that's the guy, Cobra Kai kid. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but again, I won't be shocked if by next week or the next week after that we get an announcement the Flash is canceled, Blue Beetle's canceled.
No,
I don't know. Blue Beetle.
Not
Shit.
Blue Beetle.
the green bee.
God, my life's over. Yeah.
Like I'm really at this point waiting. Actually excited to hear about what's the next bad DC thing because I'm about ready for it to all just come crumbling down and wipe it clean. And you know what? Let 10 years go by till Discovery sells DC to somebody, and then we start over very
I
clean.
mean,
10 years later, we need a
That's
huge
I think.
great. I'll
wipe.
be well into my 50s and I won't give a shit
I
then.
think
So
like
that's
I
Yeah,
think
fine.
like
exactly. You'll be
70% of it
like
is bad
your dad,
already.
just be
So
like, "Oh, it's great. Put
Uh,
anything out there, it's good."
yeah. Gosh.
50s, you're getting old.
Yeah. Well, can you imagine? Imagine it takes them that long to get their shit together. Who knows? Maybe I'll be in my 60s at that point. And
Marvel's
I'll
gonna
be
be like
like,
on phase 8.
yeah, I'm gonna be like, I
Yeah.
remember when this was supposed to come out back when I was in my 30s.
They were gonna make a Flash, and it was gonna have the old Batman from my
Oh,
era, and they
Michael
wiped
Keaton's
him
back.
away. Yeah, it's an urban legend, but Michael Keaton was gonna be Batman again. I tell you,
Yeah. Mm. Oh well.
golly. Oh well. Hey,
I don't
so
know.
DC,
DC. Anything else to add?
DC
think
Mark?
we're there.
sucks. Thank
No,
you.
Yeah.
can I be real? Is anyone actually excited for Black Adam?
Look,
It
the
looks
trailer looked
okay.
good. The trailer
Like
looked it
good?
looked
Like
good.
what?
It looked good, but I'm not excited for it. I just
I'm
there's
sorry,
so
I'm
many
just
other
not.
projects that I want to see come to fruition when it comes to these characters.
I'm not terribly excited about Shazam either. I don't know how to say that, but
I
I
like
like
Shazam,
Shazam.
the
I
first one.
liked it, but this one
But
doesn't
it's
look
not
that great.
something that I'm like, oh my god, Shazam 2. Holy shit.
Oh,
I
I
cannot
think
wait. I
I think the
mean,
biggest problem
wow.
with that,
No.
the reason why no one is excited for these DC movies anymore, is because DC just doesn't know how to connect their movies. They tried and they just continuously fail. So now that people have this expectation of these superhero movies connecting, no one is excited about these DC movies because they already know that DC doesn't connect these movies well. That's why most of
There's no faith.
exactly
There's no
that's why
faith.
most of the Marvel projects are
Yeah.
connected and people are excited about them because these are Marvel characters, and Marvel continues to come out with content that no one's ever heard of. So people are
Yeah, it's
like, it's a new
exciting.
project. It's exciting. I'm excited to learn about this new character. I want to watch this show. And then they
Yeah.
got to throw a little bit of flashback in there. That's why we're seeing Daredevil again. That's why, we have a Reed Richards. That's why they're good at this storytelling. That's why people are excited to see it. DC is just coming out with Batman, Joker, revamping. Oh, look, Batman's back in Aquaman. No one wanted to see Aquaman in the first place. Like, just a mess over there. Mess.
Yeah. Oh, that's why again, even MCU at its worst, right? Even look, they've gotten the most slack MCU with Phase 4, saying, "Well, we just don't know where it's going, where it's heading." But at their worst, people trust the MCU more than they would ever trust
Yeah.
the DCEU.
Absolutely.
Because at least they have a plan. We might not like everything that's happened so far. I like most of it. I mean, there've been
Yeah.
some bumps here and
Phase
there,
4
but
was
it's
very,
all entertaining.
yeah.
It's all like worth seeing. So
I think
I don't know.
visually, Phase 4 was lacking. I think storytelling, Phase 4 was lacking. I mean, compared to the Infinity Saga, it genuinely this first Phase 4 doesn't compare. But I still trust the process of the movies they're going to come out with because it's Marvel. The name already says it all. It started with Iron Man 1, that first connection in the Hulk movie, even though the Hulk movie was whatever, but it still started that connection. And that's what gave me faith in the Marvel. Now, ever since then, I was excited to see every single Marvel movie, see how they were going to connect. DC didn't do it well. Didn't.
Yeah. I don't know. The DCEU.
Stick with solo movies, DC. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else? I think that's it, guys. I think we
we
talked
Yeah.
this
wrapped
topic to
Nailed it.
death. I think we something else to say. Next week, I'm not sure what our topics will be about, but I know for a fact we will review Prey.
Absolutely.
And with that review, we will introduce a new rating system that we've been talking about for a while, and we're gonna implement that. And it's a little different, but I think people will like it. I think it's gonna be cool.
Mhm.
I think we can
And
kind of describe it a little bit right now
well, you
because
can, yeah, I mean, this was generally your idea, Red. So why don't
yeah.
you
All right,
talk
so we'll
about
close out with this one with it, and we can
yeah,
do it again on the next one. But in short, we call it the suits. We got that from Entourage when the character E was a normal guy, manager of the talent, and he became more and more like a suit, as Ari called him, or a businessman. He
right?
started not thinking about the passion they originally had, just the suit, the bottom line, the bottom dollar, bottom line. There you go. And it's how many movies are out of a 10 suit rating. How many suits does a movie have? Really comes down to was it basically ruined by the executives and the suits vice, did the creative talent get to actually do it? And sometimes the creative talent can go too far, and it's actually good that a suit holds them back a little bit. Every now and then we see that, so it's kind of an interesting balance. I think with the DCEU, when you look at the whole thing, it's like a 10 suit f up. The suits jumped in there and tried to change everything the whole time and ruin the creative capabilities. So as soon as Justice League, the original, and Suicide Squad came out, those are each like 8 or 9 out of 10 suits. That's how we'd rank that. It's like Suicide Squad is probably an 8 suit because they really took it and just went in a way it shouldn't have. Justice League is like a 9 suits. It took Zack Snyder's and they tried to colorful, make it happy, and do what they thought they wanted, which is how an executive thinks. Well, this is what we need to do to get that quarterly report up. Not what actually is good for the story. So
So show an example, yeah. So for instance, you said like the original Justice League is like a 9. Like all the suits just interfered and they basically
yeah,
edited
full of
their own movie basically. And let's say, for instance, a movie like Top Gun Maverick would get
oh
maybe like one suit because you could tell Tom Cruise and everyone else really did what they wanted to do. They did their own
yeah.
movie, wasn't really much interference into it. And that's basically how the rating system is going to work, more or less.
Yeah, the fewer suits, the better,
Right.
right? That's
If
basically
your
it.
shoots are better. Um, yeah, so
I
that's
would wonder,
basically what's going to
yeah,
go.
is there an example we can give historically of like a zero suit? Oh no, we called it if there's a zero suit, like it's perfect, it gets the golden suit, right?
Right.
It
The
gets a
golden
golden
suit,
suit.
yes.
Yeah.
If it's like a zero, get the golden
But
suit.
question.
But
There's
it's funny. You mentioned something how sometimes suits interfering might be
A good
it might
thing.
not turn out so bad. Perfect example, Rogue One. Rogue
yeah.
One was really edited a lot because the finished product they weren't happy with, and they edited the hell out of that movie, changed it up. I was scared it was going to be crap, but it ended up being one of the best Star Wars movies
Right.
out there.
So I
So
think I have an interesting version of this rating system. I think one suit, or the golden suit, is our perfect rating in the sense that an exec was able to hold back the creativity of the movie, but still able to make a very good film. I think one suit's good. If a movie has 0 suits, then the creativity just went too far, making the movie not as good to its potential as it should have. For example,
Yeah,
Thor,
in other
Thor:
words,
Love and
there's no
Thunder.
sign of oversight. Yeah.
right,
For example, Thor: Love and
right.
Thunder. I think Thor: Love and Thunder had almost 0 suits because Taika literally
Yeah, I would
claimed
agree with
that
that.
he
Yeah,
did whatever
yeah,
he
I agree with
wanted.
that.
If
Yes,
he
yeah.
had his if he
Taika
had
did his
his
own
if he had
thing,
his
and he let him.
suit to hold
Yeah,
him back,
yeah.
then I feel like the movie could have been better.
And while Buck might disagree with this, that's how I felt Ragnarok was. It was like they couldn't completely let him go, so they held the restraints a little bit without him going completely nuts. And I think for me, that's why it was the perfect balance. It was like, hey, he was really going crazy, but they held that dog back, with the suit or two.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
all right, and like historically, what would be an example of a golden suit? Like the perfect setup would
But we said
be
Rogue One. We also
Rogue
said
One, like Jurassic Park. I
Top
mean,
Gun Maverick,
Maverick,
Terminator 2.
Terminator 2.
Terminator 2,
That,
yeah.
I mean, James Cameron. I mean, that's Avatar. These are movies that basically were directors' visions that they did their own thing without any studio interference. Really, this was,
And it was good.
yeah. So
So that's the suits idea. We'll have to start it really implementing the every time it's a new review, video game, TV show, how many suits. We can give it if you want to give it a regular rating, sure, but I think, that's what we're trying to do to distinguish ourselves a little differently is not so much how good is it, like how much did the executives not listen to the fans? In other words, like did they just jump in there and do what they wanted? Obi-Wan Kenobi, good God. That
10
thing is so
suits.
suited up. That's like
10 suits.
basically 9 or 10 suits.
you know, we have to stop talking about Obi-Wan because honestly, I my stomach starts to hurt. I get ulcer. I'm getting an ulcer just thinking about that show, and it gets me so angry. Yeah.
Just to say, we're all a little different. I think I might have given it the highest, or maybe I was tied with you, Marco, but I gave it a 6 because in the very end, I actually liked it more than I disliked it. And I hold it true to the first and the last episode and still think you can basically cut the whole middle out and you have the core. It's not the best core, but if in my head, I envisioned that a lot better. I already want to see like a reskin of the whole thing with just the
Well,
first and last episode.
someone, I saw a TikTok on it. Someone made a 2-hour cut
Yeah,
of the
I
entire
heard of that.
show.
I need to
I
watch
want to
that.
I
watch
mean,
it.
I've been meaning to watch it, and they say it's really good. Like it made the whole thing
Well,
a lot better. It's a 2 hour and 30-minute movie,
Something
I
like
believe.
that, yeah.
That's what they made it into, right?
I'm
And yeah,
laughing. I mean, just to keep on that for another minute, but I'm laughing because it's almost like every episode they we got a little excited for what we thought was going to happen the next time. Like, do you remember when they started talking about the was it the path? Like, what was the Jedi saving? Like the Underground Railroad for Jedi, and we're like, oh my
Basically,
god, are we about to see?
Quinlan
We
yeah.
got
Voss.
excited. We're
Oh
like, are
my
we going to see
god.
Quinlan Voss? Are we
It
going to
was
see
like
the dude
a
from?
tease and then put it back. Yeah, it's like
Yeah, are we gonna
nah.
see the dude from Jedi Fallen Order? Like suddenly everyone's ideas start cooking, and you can just imagine the suits and the creators probably going, "Oh no, it's nothing like that. It's just a bunch of like extras
Yeah,
dressed up as like force sensitive families they're rescuing." It was like, come on, no one cares about that. If you wanted to get away from Obi-Wan, then yes, you needed to put things like Kyle Kestis and Quinlan Voss and all these things that would have been like, oh my god, this is what's going on in the Jedi world right now. That's awesome. That's the kind of thing to keep us excited in between Obi-Wan and Hayden fighting. But no, no, it was absolute garbage. Oh, and Riva, that was the other thing we get.
Yeah. Thank you.
yeah. I don't want to talk about
Thank
this.
you,
I don't
Disney.
want
All
to
right,
talk about
sorry.
this.
Yeah, this is
I
a
don't want to talk
DCU topic.
about this.
Ezra Miller, I hope you're doing great out
Yeah,
there. You kind of
that's it.
ruined what was, at least the end of an era. Now there's no end to this era. So thanks, Ezra. Go ahead and
Yeah,
go jump in the hole.
yeah, yeah. I think we reached the point of the return. I think that's it, guys.
Over.
DCEU, is it alive or dead? I think it's dead.
It's
I
dead,
don't. There's a little hope, but I think it's dead. So, like I
sadly.
said, next week
Doesn't
we
matter
will
anymore.
we will. I'm not sure what else we'll talk about, but I know we will review Prey with our new rating system, and let's see what else happens next week. I'm sure it'll be something to
Yep.
drop that will be interesting and groundbreaking
We'll
to talk.
talk about Aquaman or Flash getting
Yeah,
canceled, whatever
yeah.
the next thing is.
So
Warner Brothers sells DC to Disney, something like that.
yeah. Oh,
That'd be
don't
great.
yeah. I almost that could be it. I think that's it right there. I
Then we'll
think
get the cross DC versus Marvel Phase
Oh, wow.
15. What?
It'll be Michael Keaton's Batman fighting against Tobey
Michael Keaton
Maguire's
returns.
Spider-Man.
yep.
They'll even bring Ezra back. He'll be 50. Be like, Ezra Miller returns as Flash, y'all. He's a little
Telling you
cooler
right
now.
now, they're going to announce that. We're going to go back to this podcast and be like, "Yep, we said it first."
Called
That'll
it.
be
I'm telling
that'll
you,
be
we called
wild.
it. We called it. We called it.
Yep.
All
All right.
right, guys. That's about it. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week. Have a good night.